So in this video, I want to talk about how you can find work inside Japan. And it doesn't matter if you're a student that just graduated and wants to find work. It doesn't matter if you just finished your school and want to find work. It doesn't matter if you worked for 20 years and want to find work. I know some people and I got some experience and I talked to some people. So it doesn't matter in which situation you are. I will tell you some stories in this video about what I heard from my environment, some information that I got on the way too while looking for work inside Japan. So I think for everyone that wants to find work in Japan, this can be a beneficial video. And if you didn't watch my video already about how I found an internship inside Japan, take a look at my last video. So first I want to talk about the myth, if you may say it like this, that you need a bachelor's degree to find work inside Japan, or that you need work experience when you want to find work in Japan. And for this, I want to share two stories with you. So, in my environment, we had a person that was at the same university as me here in Germany, and we had the same study course with where we um, learned modern Japanese studies. So we basically just studied Japanese language and society and stuff like this. And he told me, I heard from a friend that well, he basically just took the study course to find work inside Japan. And basically, his go to way was that he just tried to get connections with people, with Japanese people that are in Germany, and kind of got close to those people, talked with them much, and told them that he wants to work inside Japan. And recently, a friend of mine told me, well, this person quit his study course and now works inside Japan. I was like, crazy. So basically, he didn't have a degree. He, well, he doesn't have a degree. He canceled his study course to work inside Japan. And this story, why I tell it to you, is really important because of 2 points. First, it shows that you can find work if you're open to work and if you're maybe not that picky about what you will do. And the second thing is, well, the importance of connections. Because you see, and I think it's not just important for Japan, it's also important for Germany. I think it's a general thing that is important for your whole life, is that, well, people enable you to go into a certain position. And usually, in the case of Japan, it is a Japanese person that thought, okay, we can make use of him. The second story would be, for example, there was a person that, well, didn't have a background in Japanese studies, but they worked at uh, the German company here in Germany. But they have a connection to Japan, and the Japanese, like Shacho, the supervisor, was coming to Germany. And well, he got into a talk with him, and he said, well, that he's interested to work inside Japan. And basically, that Shacho told him, well, if you can do me a presentation why I should let you work inside Japan in Japanese, and you can convince me, then you can go. And he basically did a presentation in Japanese. He learned some Japanese while he was in Japan, and that Shacho was like, yeah, you can go. And that's how he found a really, really good paying job inside Japan. Um, that is another thing. For example, the way how I got my internship was also um, I worked 1 year before for a Japanese company here in Germany at some event. And at that event, well, I got to know many companies, I talked with them, and they basically told me, and they basically already knew me, and this made the step to get an internship way easier. And basically, if you know a person, it will not be a guarantee to find an internship or a job or work, but I can guarantee you, because they already work together with you, or because they already spend time with you, they know that you will fit inside their team. And I think this is a really, really good starting point. Because from there on, you just need to convince them that you already also have the skills. It doesn't matter where you want to work, you need to have the skills for that position. That is obvious, of course, that is one part. But I think the other part, if you make a good impression on people, this will already boost your likelihood of finding something. So, this is already a tip that I can give to many people. Also, maybe what is important if you're a university student, for example, um, and want to find work inside Japan. In my case, my university didn't allow me to work, which was crazy in my opinion, to not allow people to work. But anyway, I know that on other universities or on a student visa, you also get the permission to work 28 hours a week. So in this case, I also know some students that went to Japan, went to the university, and then just did some internship at another company. And after that, they made a good impression in that internship, and the company took them, for example. That is also an opportunity that you can take. And if you're, for example, a person that has some work experience, well, then you can go find a different visa. For example, they're not just visa for people that have a bachelor's degree or visa for internships in my case. They're also visa if you have some work experience and you're a skilled worker, then you can also get a 2 years visa to first go to Japan and start finding a job there. And you have around about 2 years to find something. So these are some opportunities too. And maybe another thing that is important, well, you certainly need Japanese if you want to find a work inside Japan. Because, well, I think as a foreigner, you will still have a different position as Japanese people in most companies. I would really not advise you to go try to be in the same position as a Japanese person. So, for example, if you go to Japan and you want to work at Toyota, and you go inside Toyota and try to do the same work as all the Japanese people there, even though you don't have Japanese as your mother tongue, I think it will be a really, really, really hard time for you. Find a job inside Japan. I would advise you to find a position that, well, a Japanese person cannot do, and the person find a position that the Japanese person cannot do as well as you can. For example, in my internship, it's the case that I will do some translation work for some like communication materials of the company to English or to German. I also know they have some connection to Germany. So, for example, if you know that a Japanese company that has connection with foreign companies, German or British or American companies, you can say to them, well, I know English and German and so on, so I can maybe assist you with the email. Maybe you work in the sales department and help with customers. So I think this is a really beneficial thing in this case. So, yeah. And in this case, you also want to communicate with the people there. Because I know many people want to go to Japan and want to work there, but you need to at least communicate with the people there. And I can tell you that I think communication, in my opinion, I think other people maybe have a different opinion, but in my opinion, communication is key. If you cannot talk or interact with the people, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're the best marketing salesperson, whatever, if your GPA is 4.0, if you have a perfect grades and everything, if you cannot put that information into Japanese, it is useless. And that is one thing that I really understood lately when I learned Japanese or talk Japanese with people. It doesn't matter how smart you are. I wouldn't consider myself much more smart than other people, but all the information that I have with marketing, that I learned in my university with public relations and everything like this, I don't know how to say these things in Japanese. And this will usually also make an impression to people that they don't know if you cannot say it or if you don't know it. And usually I recognize that usually people will go to, well, he doesn't know it. Of course, if you're at a company that worked with foreigners together, they will already maybe understand this point. But in this case, I can really, really advise you to trying to learn the language. And even if it's just a bit, try to learn a bit. There are Anki decks that you can use. I have some videos about Japanese language that you can watch. I have some courses too if you want to learn about them. So, yeah, this is what I would recommend to you. And I gave you many tips on, well, how to, which things you can do to find work inside Japan. But maybe I want to add like two small informations. The first one is you, in my opinion, should know why you go to Japan or what your reasoning is. Well, if you don't know which job you will do, or if you don't know which city you want to go, I think this is okay, but you should know what your kind of goal is when you go to Japan. Because you have to keep in mind, and this information is also important for if you go for working holiday day, for example, for just traveling 1 or 2 years, and so on, well, you will not have your friends and your family there. And even the smallest things like riding a bus, taking a train, buying things in the supermarket are already so stressful because you don't know how to do it. I can tell you when I did 1 year exchange semester inside Japan, it was so stressful for me in the beginning because I just didn't know every small thing. I didn't know how to get a bank account. I didn't know how to send a small letter, for example. I didn't know where I should go if I want to print something. All the small things that you learned over years and years and years in your own country. Smaller things also like how you pay at the restaurant. I never thought that I will not know how to pay at the restaurant. But it's so different in Japan, for example, compared to Germany. It's so different to ride a bus in Japan, for example, compared to Germany. So I would really advise you to um, like be aware of the situation. And in this case, having a goal, knowing why you're there, will kind of help you to navigate those hardships inside Japan, at least in my opinion. So yeah, um, this is what I would watch out for when I want to find work in Japan. If you want to learn some Japanese or prepare your Japanese for going to Japan, then just look at my place for how to learn Japanese. Take a look at my website for to have some in-depth Japanese courses. And as always, thank you for listening. Have a great day. また今度よろしくね。